Hello YouTubers and RVers, welcome to our channel once again. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 upgrades that you need to get right now. Well, by right now, let me clarify that. I figure you're either looking at RVs and you're wondering what to buy, what kind of extras to get with them, or what kind of bargaining chips you have to get things thrown in free, or you've bought an RV and you're going to need a few things, okay? And by a few things, I mean here are 5 things that everybody gets, everybody does, that you have to get right away, okay? So 5 things you need to have pretty much the first day, if that makes sense, okay? Now, let me clarify. These are things that a list, and a lot of content makers will give you a list. Oh, here's the 10 things you need to get, or here's what you got to do first, or here, things like that. And all those lists, I'm here to tell you right now, I think are probably valid in their own way. This is a 5 upgrade list for someone who's got a entry-level RV, say under $20,000, under 20 feet, maybe an 18-foot, 17-foot, or something like that. Your entry-level RV, that's what this is about. A list like this might be completely different if we're talking about a 25-foot Grand Design or a 35-foot fifth wheel or something, or somebody else's kind of things, or even a small Airstream. The list is going to be a lot different, okay? So this is for those economy, entry-level RVs, and what you're going to need to do right off the bat, okay? Now, before I go into these things that you're going to need, let me explain a couple things. I'm not an expert. My wife and I, this is our 2nd year doing it, and a lot of this stuff we kind of learned the hard way. We got our RV, and it was brought to us, and we were like, wait a minute, this isn't included kind of situation? No, it's not going to be. And friends, like I called up a friend of mine who's been an RVer with a relatively small RV for years, and I said, hey, we finally broke down and bought us an RV. Right, first thing he said was, you know, you're going to want to put a television in that RV, and you're going to want to get a television mount. Be sure to get one. Now, this is right after I told him. I didn't even ask for advice. He said, before you just get a television mount, be sure to get one that moves, that you can push back against the wall and lock in place. Don't get the regular one that just has the arm that comes out, because the back of that RV going down the road is an earthquake. And if you get one of those and just leave it hanging out there, it's going to bounce up and down. It's either going to damage the wall, the television, or the mount going down the road. Make sure you get one that you can push against the wall and latch into place. I thought, oh my gosh, what a great tip. Thanks, Bill. I would have never thought about that. Not in a million years. He was absolutely correct. So that's the kind of thing that I'm passing on to you. That's not one of the 5 things I'm talking about, but that's how a lot of this stuff came to me that I'm passing on to you, okay? By people who know a lot more than I do. And always remember, hey, that subscribe and like buttons, man, it helps us content makers so much. We really do appreciate it. So be sure and do that. There's probably a button right there on the screen right now. You can do it. Cost you nothing. Go ahead and do it. Like and subscribe, okay? Now, here we go. We're going to tell you the very first thing that you're going to need to get. This is not on every entry-level RV, but it's on at least half of them. If you Google right now, pause this thing and Google, do travel trailers come with spare tires? You'll see your screen will fill up with, no they don't, not anymore. Industry standard is you don't get a spare tire. We didn't realize that until the thing was being delivered at our house. Never dreamed for a second that even Department of Transportation, you know, would let something be on the road that doesn't have a spare tire. My wife's first question to us, what, we don't have a spare tire? Well, I'm not going anywhere. We're not just going to get in this thing and take off, go somewhere, especially when we don't know what we're doing with no spare tire. She and I both know what it's like to sit on the side of the road waiting for a wrecker to show up, or some type of roadside assistance. It takes hours. Where if you have a spare tire, you can change it out and be headed on down the road in 15 minutes. She said, I'm not going until we get a spare tire. And you know what? I had to go, well, you know what? She's pretty smart sometimes, and she's probably right. So we got us one. We spent about $200 finding it, resourcing it ourselves. $250. I mean, we bought our But for $200, we got the tire, the rim, the mounting, and the little mount thing that we put on the bumper from Amazon, okay? And you may have a different price depending on how you do it. If you just take your trailer to a reputable tire place like Discount Tire, they will order the rim. They won't have it in stock, but they'll order the rim and the right tire, mount it all for you, give it to you for a really decent price. In the meantime, you can get that little mounting bracket off of Amazon. Bada bing, bada boom, you're in business. A lot of places will do that. I tried kind of piecemealing to get one thing here, one thing there, and I probably paid a little bit more money than I had to, okay? But it worked out really well. We still have it. But the other thing is, too, keep in mind that your lug wrench on your car will probably not match the lug nuts on your RV. If you get a spare, and I recommend you do, you need to also get one of these. This is a 4-way lug wrench. Now, what's the cool thing about this? They're cheap, okay? You can get one of these for 10 to 20 bucks, okay? You can buy them at Walmart, for goodness sake. And you can spin this thing on, replace your tire, you're moving on down the road. But you'll have to get one of these because chances are, your wrench that came with your car won't fit the lug nuts on your RV. That's number one, a spare tire, okay? Seriously, Google it. You'll see that RVs under 20 feet don't come with spare tires anymore. On our page, that's probably the number one thing that I get. Somebody will write down and say, hey man, thanks for your advice. I had no idea. That's the craziest thing I ever heard, no spare tire. I hear that more than anything else. So that's number one. Number two kind of goes right with the spare tire in terms of being the first thing you get. Now, this is not advice. This is what happens all the time. And so it happens to everybody, and I'll tell you why in a second. You get a new mattress. The first thing you're going to do is get a new mattress. The mattress that comes with your RV from the dealership is terrible. Now, I don't know which, if it's a chicken and the egg kind of thing. Is it they give terrible mattresses because they know everybody's going to replace them, or does everybody replace them because they're terrible? I don't know which way it is, but the truth of the matter is the first thing anybody does when they buy an RV is replace the mattress. Even if they buy a nice 25-foot used RV, they're going to replace the mattress. Wouldn't you? Who wants to sleep on somebody else's mattress? So the first thing anybody does, new or used or whatever, is they buy a new mattress, and there are a lot of really good mattress companies out there for RVs. I'll put a link down below in the comments to somebody I know who talks about the ones he likes, and then there's some others. There's some good ones out there. They're around $250, the really good ones. Or you can do like we did, and I've seen several other people who do this. You just go out and you buy a great big memory foam mattress. And those you can trim down pretty easy, or you can usually get one that's a queen size or whatever, and put that on there. We put ours on top of the little bitty 1.5-inch light foam mattress that Coleman had, and then that thing on there. And you know what? We sleep pretty well in there. It works out really, really nicely. So you can do that, and you can get one of those for under $100 on Amazon. And it comes squished down into a little bitty roll, and you open it up and go, but all the mattresses do. That's sound effects. And maybe not quite like that. But anyway, so two things: spare tire, new mattress. Those are the two things you're going to want to get right off the bat. The cool thing, though, is you can probably get the dealer, I'll whisper this because we don't want to tell anybody. Well, you'll probably get the dealer to throw those in if you play your cards right. You can walk up there and say, yeah, I like this 17B right here, this Coleman 17B, but you're going to have to throw in one of those mattresses you sell over there. And what salesman who's going to make thousands of dollars off this sale is going to lose the sale because he can't give you one of those mattresses over that they got sitting in a corner over there? And they're pretty good mattresses at Camping World and places like that. They're not great mattresses, but they're pretty good. And who's going to lose the sale because of that? Well, nobody, okay? Same thing is true about a spare tire. Now, they're not going to want to give you the spare tire. They're going to give you a bunch of excuses. They're going to say, well, now the industry today is in a spare tire, and we don't carry those in stock. We don't. They're going to give you a bunch of excuses. if he wants to give you the spare tire, that really does save you some time and money. That'd be great. People have posted comments that they've done that and it's worked, and so that's really great. But chances are they're not going to do it. And when they say, well, you know, we really don't do it, fine, just knock $500 off the cost of this RV, because I'm going to have to try to find wheels and all this type of stuff. Yeah, bargaining chips. You know, you can find that yourself and get them to take more than it's going to cost you off. So get them to knock $500 off the cost, or get them to throw it in, okay? Depending on the deal the salesman has, he's going to prefer one over the other, okay? He might not lose that much money if they just knock $500. He'll go to his manager and says, oh, this guy says he'll take it if you knock $500 off, and they're just going to do that, and he's going to try to get credit for it, that kind of thing. All right, but those two things right off the bat, spare tire, new mattress, you're going to want to get both of those right away, okay? And that's a couple of things. Even if you're buying like a 25-foot really nice RV, you know, chances are, you know, if it's a travel trailer, you're going to want to get those too. So that'll work even if you're not buying a entry-level one. So those are good things. The next thing, this is actually a safety issue. The hot water heaters, notice I'm from the South, so we don't say water heater, we say hot water heater. The water heater comes with a thermostat set at about 160 degrees. That water comes out of there at about 160 degrees. I'm not exaggerating, I'm not kidding. We put, you know, laser testers on there. Yeah, it's around, you can find that online where guys are testing it. It's coming out 160 degrees. 160 degrees is dangerous. 160 degrees is second degree burned in less than a second, okay? You got a kid trying to take a shower or wash their hands or something like that, and they put their hands in there for more than a second, they'll get a second degree burn. That's just ridiculous. Now, why do they do that? Well, it's because that water heater is only about this big, okay? And for an adult, for you or I, we're smart enough to know what we do is we don't get in the shower, we turn on the cold water, and then we turn on the hot water until it gets to be the temperature we want it to be, right? And that saves hot water, because you don't need much water at 160 degrees added to regular room temperature water to bring it up to a decent shower. And that means there's plenty of hot water left for the next person, okay? So you can get a lot more hot water out of it if the water is a lot hotter. Now, replacing the thermostat is easy. You can buy a thermostat online, and they are just little things. I can't even hardly show this to you. It's a little bitty thing, and all it does is there is a place in the water heater where there's nothing there, and it's just a space. And what you do is you pull out the one that's there, this one that's not adjustable, and you put it in there, and there's a little cup that goes over it. You attach the wires to it, and you put the spring on it, and then the spring holds it in place against the metal water heater. All right, and that's pretty much it. It's not hard, and the one you'll get is actually adjustable. It's got a little gauge on it, kind of thing, that you can turn this little bitty knob that's on it and take it down. Now, my wife and I, we don't have little kids getting in the shower, and so we got ours set for 140 degrees, which is still dangerous if you leave your hand in there, but it takes about 5 seconds or more to get a first or second degree burn at that temperature. All right, so that's okay for a couple of adults, and yet we still have plenty of hot water if both of us want to take a shower. Okay, and so I adjusted it down to 140 degrees, and I put my thermometer on there, and yeah, it comes out at 140 degrees. So that's a lot better than 160. 160 is painful almost instantly. Okay, so safety, please. I was in the safety business. I was a firefighter for 32 years and a paramedic. I've seen plenty of people burned by hot water accidents, even in the shower or something like that. And so please get a thermostat that's not set at 160. And pretty much all of the thermostats, because all the water heaters are all made by the same company, one of two companies, and one of them having like 90% of the market, they're all like this. They come at 160. Be careful. Get that fixed, okay? All right. The number 4 thing that you need to run out and get is going to be the rear camera system, okay? the rear camera system helps you in so many ways, and it's not just in trying to back around into a crazy parking spot. It helps you going down the road. Now when you hook it up, you can hook it up one of two ways, or even maybe 3 ways probably, but you can hook it up to where the camera and everything comes on when you put the car in reverse, because it's hooked up to your backup lights, the power for your backup lights. Or you can have it where the camera and the monitor and everything comes on anytime you turn the lights on. Or you can have it where it's on all the time, I guess, if you wanted to. But we have ours set so we turn the running lights on and it comes on. And going down the road, it gives you such a feeling of comfort and security, because you can see kind of on the 3 sides around you and behind you, and it really is nice. My wife was, understandably, a little bit nervous about pulling a trailer down the road. The first trip we went on, we didn't have the backup camera, or whatever you want to call it, rear camera. And we did okay. It was all right, and she was a little nervous, but she looked in the rearview mirrors and kept it between the white lines, and she did just fine. She really did. But then our son said, you know what, no, you need a rear camera. And he bought one, had it sent to us. I put it on, and she's like, it is so easy now. She's just, I can sleep while she's driving. It doesn't matter, because I know she can see all the way around her and know what's going on. Okay, I can tell you a story about somebody that tried to have a head-on collision with us a few months ago in a little town in Texas. Pulled out, but she knew by looking at the camera and the monitor that there weren't any cars in the lane beside us and stuff, and she swerved over and swerved back, and that pickup truck came down our lane and all this stuff, and I'm sitting there like this, and she just boom, 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 and we get back and I'm like, well, and she said, well, that was something, huh? And she just kept on going, because she had, I said, how did you miss, how were you able to keep us from dying? She said, well, I knew there was no car over there because that camera was on. That was awesome. Rear camera, and oh yeah, and it's completely invaluable when it comes to backing it into some camping spot or something like that. Get one of those. They're not that expensive. They're not near as expensive as you think they are. And it just search around, you'll see. All right, that was number 4, and number 5 is going to be stabilizer scissor jacks. A lot of your less expensive RVs come with only stabilizer jacks on the back, and they're stabilizing the back, and the tongue jack is stabilizing the front. But I mean, walking around in the RV, it just goes back and forth because it's sitting on that one point at the front. Stabilizer jacks, you can get 2 6,000-pound strength stabilizer jacks for an RV like ours for $79, and it came with everything on Amazon. It comes with the jacks, the screws you're going to use to mount them, the drill bit you're going to use to drill your pilot holes, the sockets for both the nuts or the bolts that you're going to be using, or self-tapping screws that you're going to be using, and the socket for putting in a drill, so now you can run your jacks up and down with a drill. Okay, it comes with pretty much everything you need, all right, for $79. You can't beat that. And now we got caught in the Davis Mountains a month ago in an unbelievable cloudburst storm, 50-mile-an-hour straight winds, and we're like, and it's, don't get me wrong, it's noisy, and this wind and rain is blowing like you wouldn't believe, hard, and we're like, we both asked each other about the same time, are we going to die? Are we going to die in here like this? Because it's like, and I'm looking out the window and everything is going by, doing all this stuff. The RV itself never moved. And it was, I mentioned to her, I said, is this thing blowing around or rocking at all? And we both said, no, it's really not. And the storm was over in 30 minutes, and we went back to sleep. But it wasn't moving around at all. It was nice and sturdy and stable, and it was because of those $79 jacks that I put on the front, 6,000 pounds a piece. Plenty of pictures of these things for you here. So, front stabilizer jacks. So what are the 5 things? I'm going to recap. Spare tire and mattress. Both of those you can probably get a dealer to throw in if you think about it ahead of time. If not, they're not that expensive. You can do it, but you're going to want both of those. And then the new hot water thermostat, because it's just too dangerous without it. It's cheap to replace and easy. The rear camera, we wouldn't be without it. You can be without it. We did our first trip without it. We'll never do it without it again. They're not that expensive. And then the front stabilizer jacks. Comfort. Some of these things are safety, like the mattress and the water heater thermostat are about safety. Mattress is not about safety, although it could be, I guess. The spare tire and the water heater thermostat, safety. The new mattress, comfort. The front stabilizer jacks, comfort. And the rear camera is kind of comfort, safety, peace of mind, like you wouldn't believe. Hey, thank you very much for joining us here today. I hope this has helped you in one way or another. Don't worry, we're going to be doing more things as we learn more things, as more and more people share things with us. We'll try them out and we'll share them with you. Some things we're going to go, don't waste your time, maybe. And some other things like when you're putting something in, like when I was putting in our new electric tongue jack, I made a mistake because I didn't put something in the right order, and I had to go all the way back and start all the way over. It cost me like another 30 minutes. If you watch that video, you'll see what it was, and you don't have to make that mistake. So, hey, we'll see you next time. Have fun. We're having fun in our RV. I hope you do too. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.